Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena we are checking in on a Kethis, the Hidden Hand deck. This is another one of those M20 mythics that I haven't seen many builds around, and it borders on janky, but just powerful enough and just effective enough that it definitely can be a fun video. So let's go into it. White, a black, and a green, you get a 3/4 Legendary Elf Advisor at Mythic, and a legendary spells cost 1 less to cast. Exile 2 legendary cards from your graveyard. Until end of turn, each legendary card in your graveyard gains, you may play this card from your graveyard. So I've tried a number of ways to get this to work. I tried filling the graveyard using Stitcher's Suppliers, Glow Spore Shamans, and such, but those aren't legendary themselves, and it often left the graveyard full of lands and creatures that aren't legendary. It wasn't very impressive. This is more of an almost ramp deck that then goes nuts with Bolas's Citadel. This deck is capable of playing a turn 3 Bolas's Citadel, and if it does, and then hits a good combination of life-gaining effects, Bolas's Citadel can draw a tremendous amount of your deck. The rest of the deck is mostly dedicated to getting a good amount of mana and doing something powerful. The Kethis endgame is super fueled by Vraska and Journey to Eternity. So Vraska can sacrifice a creature with Journey on it to flip the Journey, of course, but Vraska is also really good for cycling through other legendary permanents because often you don't want more than one. Vraska sacrificing Oath of Kaya is pretty great. Vraska can sacrifice extra Mox Ambers to draw cards. I started with 1 Vraska. I was also trying cards like Sorin and all kinds of other planeswalkers in here, even Gideon, and I just ended up with 4 Vraskas. I always wanted a way to sacrifice an Amara if I had another one in my hand, because this also filled the graveyard with legendary cards, which fuels Kethis to bring back whatever legendaries you need. Shalai keeps other things safe and is a good mana outlet for all the mana you end up with in the deck. It's kind of crazy how you can spit this battlefield onto your hand, but the truly powerful thing that you end up doing is Shalai just pumping everything and going face with what seems like a lot of Oath of Kaya. When Oath of Kaya only costs 1 black and 1 white, and they put themselves in the graveyard, sometimes you end up casting multiples of them over and over with the Kethis until the opponent is dead. Yawgmoth's Vile Offering is a pretty fun take. Just getting your opponent's best thing is usually enough to get the scoops out of them, and Massacre Girl keeps everything dead, as sometimes you just gotta wipe the board. This deck, well, it has a lot of mythics. You don't need the Mox Ambers, but they sure are helpful to play things ahead of schedule, and you usually have the legendary to make them pay off. So I like having a lot of them. I started with 1, I ended with 4, just because you can use them mostly to sacrifice with Vraska and fill your graveyard to activate Kethis. So there you go. But if you don't have these, it's okay. You can run Paradise Druid or find another legend, some kind of a legendary permanent. I used to run Shana and Tomic in the 2-drop spot just to have more creatures to play with. There's plenty of options, and in fact we're going to try something a little different. I'm going to try to remember to do this in a lot of my videos in the future. We'll see. I always say I'm going to try things like this, then I get recording and I can forget, but over here in the sideboard, these are the last 3 cards that I cut, and I'll tell you why. Urza's Ruinous Blast doesn't hit enough of the things in the format. When I'm losing, it's usually because my opponent does have something like a Nissa, and this exiles all non-land permanents, so not the lands animated by Nissa, or the Nissa herself. The opponent with their overwhelming boards, sometimes you can use a Ruinous Blast to hit a whole bunch of white aggro creatures, but Massacre Girl will do that too, and can get into the graveyard and be cast from the graveyard and be resurrected by Journey to Eternity and Yawgmoth's Vile Offering, so Massacre Girl replaced Urza's Ruinous Blast. The other part of the deck that I was trying really hard to make work was Nissa Who Shakes the World and Kamal's Druidic Vow. The problem with the Druidic Vow, it seems really obvious, but then you actually do it, you cast it for 7. Say you reveal a Llanowar Elf, so now it's really like you cast it for 6. 4 of them are lands. Okay, I put those on the battlefield. I don't have much extra to do with them. I had 9 mana when I cast this. And then the other 2 are a Shalai and a Kethis. But you already control a Shalai and a Kethis. So you put them onto the battlefield and then you throw them in the graveyard. Next turn, if your Kethis lives, you can exile those and do this again, but you basically, as cool as that sounds, you basically spent a 9 mana turn doing nothing, just to hope to spend like 13 mana next turn to do probably more nothing, whereas Bolas's Citadel as opposed to the Vow, just goes absolutely crazy most of the time and can carry many games on its own. Nissa Who Shakes the World was also really good in the deck, and you may want to keep running Nissa Who Shakes the World. Combined with Shalai, very powerful. Combined with Kethis, very powerful. I honestly cut it for a very funny reason. This is a casual deck. I did try it in ranked, and I tried it spiky in ranked, and it was just too fragile. Running legendary sorceries, running 4 of legends, running this card at all into Lava Coil, none of it worked. So even at my spikiest, I cut this out of ranked and played it in casual. Whenever I play a turn 3 Nissa on somebody in free play, they scoop. Game over, done. Don't get to see anything cool happen with the Druidic Vow or the Kethis. It's just, we were done there. Whereas if I play a Citadel, I've had almost nobody scoop to the Citadel itself. It's once I've played about 13 permanents that they do. I've definitely talked enough about the deck. So let's go play some games and see if we can do some absolutely wacky things with Kethis. Well, at least we have some early Amaras. Keep the opponent busy. Kethis comes down. We have 3 black sources for the Citadel, which is always one of the obstacles we face. We have to lead on a tapped Godless Shrine into a cemetery, and then Amara can go after him. I like Amara in the deck to turn on. It's probably one of the best 2-mana legendaries you can do to turn on the Mox Amber and just give the opponent something to keep them busy while you set up the rest of your things. She usually gets killed rather quickly, even if you're just running her into another 2/2 to make a token. And then Kethis the Hidden Hand can make good use of her. So like, this is like one of those situations where it looks really weird, but you just throw her in there. You just throw her in there and there's a token left over. In that way, we kind of did something similar. My opponent has a 1/1 flyer, I have a 1/1 lifelinker. I have another Amara, but I'm not going to throw her down just right now. Let's get Kethis on the board. Legendary spells costing 1 less can help a lot with the Golgari Queen. Also, the tokens left over are good to sacrifice to Vraska to keep digging through your deck. Looks like our opponent with 2 Temples of Silence so far, and another Oligarch, so some kind of an Aristocrats build. Judi Dench is coming at you. She's got a really cool staff, and she's going to whack you if you mess with anything. Yawgmoth's Vile Offering could be cast right now, which is kind of epic, but I don't like my targets very much. Remember, this reduces all legendary spells. That includes the Citadel and the Vile Offering. But right here, I think we're just gonna drop the Golgari Queen. And I'm going to draw a card off this token, as more cards is usually better when you're playing the deck if you don't have a legendary permanent to sacrifice. We'll leave the hand back to block the Oligarch to protect the Vraska. If Vraska dies, that's sad. It's not the end of the world, but just being able to keep those extra cards coming every turn makes a big difference. Oh no! Opponent with the Mortify. Now the Vile Offering does have something we want back. Vraska takes a few bumps. Tilt! Why don't I draw land? Alright. Do we sacrifice the Amara and try to hit our land drop this turn? The problem with that is, what if we draw the Mox Amber? I guess if we draw the Mox Amber, it's still turned on as long as the Vraska lives. We could plus the Vraska, though. Yeah. Let's just plus you without sacrificing in this case, as much as I'd like to sacrifice the Amara. As much as I'd like to draw the card, is what I should say. Brutal. Brutal. All the 5-drops. There we go. So, we can play the Massacre Gal. We can also fire off the Offering. What does the Offering bring us? It can get us back a Hidden Hand, which is pretty much what we want, and can eliminate this and turn it into another 1/1 flyer. Is that good enough? Or we could Massacre Girl these. Just be done with them and have the 4/4. I think that's overall a bit better. We can save this for a bigger target, which has to be lurking somewhere. So we don't want to sacrifice a land with the Citadel lurking. We'll just plus you again. Kick it on back to the opponent. Sacrificing Massacre Girl when we have a 4/4? Our opponent didn't get the token because the Afterlife resolved and then the Massacre Girl trigger resolved. That's pretty cool. Not something I thought enough about. I didn't see that one coming. Oh, Ugin. Oh, Ugin. You will serve me before this is through. Alright. My graveyard. Let's get Kethis back on the battlefield and blow Ugin to bits. Still nothing I wish to sacrifice. I have the mana I need for a Citadel now. Decline. So with the legendaries in the graveyard, we can play an Amara or a Massacre Girl from the graveyard if we want to with the Kethis next turn. I don't think it'll be nearly as good as playing a Citadel, but we will see. Our opponent has a lot of Orzhov lands lined up here, but they did craft their temples. Doesn't look like they have the Godless Shrines or the Isolated Chapels. Tome of the Guild Pact. Whenever you cast a multicolor spell, draw a card. So, plenty of gold cards in the deck, but I think we can raise that in value pretty well with the Citadel. So we could get the Ugin with the Yawgmoth's Vile Offering. This can blow up a Planeswalker or a creature. We can cast these from the graveyard, but none of that seems as lovely to me as the Citadel. So let's start the party. Land on top, of course. Let's enter tapped. Another land on top. Sacrifice something. You'll do. Get a little deeper. There we go. There we go. Embrace the crazy. Smash. And say go. Our Citadel party has started. The Bell Haunt is here. That's fine. I definitely have a land to discard, but there's a little more value on that Bell Haunt when you have a Tome of the Guild Pact. But the opponent won't play it out and see how crazy the Citadel goes from there. So we take down the win against a black-white, multicolor, aristocratic deck. Our opener doesn't have any early plays at all, and it's on the draw. If we draw a land, Oath of Kaya is on. We don't have anything for Journey to go with, but if we draw an Imara, that'll work. And we have a Massacre Girl. I'm actually going to keep it because it should be decent against most aggressive decks if we draw one more land. However, if we draw a Mox Amber, it's a very bad draw off the top. Another 5-drop, it would also qualify as a very bad draw. So we put our faith in the deck to give us up some good draws. Let's see if we're rewarded today or not. Our opponent opening on Bant colors, and okay, well, we have a land. But when our opponent hasn't played anything yet, I don't know if Oath of Kai is going to work out. Okay, Fibblethib comes down, draws a card, kicks it back to me. We can go ahead and eliminate that. When Fibblethib becomes the target of a spell, Fibblethib goes back in the deck. When Fibblethib becomes the target of Oath of Kaya, Phil just goes to the graveyard. So here's 4 mana, Frilled Mystic, almost certainly available. We could run out the Vraska and just get wrecked. That doesn't sound particularly great. I mean, but we're in free play. I'm just going to call them. If they have a Frilled Mystic here, at least we put something in our graveyard, and they don't. So I get to plus my Vraska, and I get to sacrifice my Oath of Kaya, start filling that graveyard, and getting more cards into my hand. Also turns on Yawgmoth's Vile Offering. So what are you doing with 4 mana that you didn't play anything? Raph, well, alright, we're not the only ones on a legendary deck all of a sudden. How exciting. The opponent wants to attack down the Vraska. And now they have Legendary Flash. Do you think they have a way to bump up the Raph? I don't think so. I could also go for a Flip Journey to Eternity by playing the elf and sacrificing the elf, which isn't bad. I feel like I should go after this Raph, though. I can play this, sacrifice it to Vraska, then play a Llanowar Elf, which is a pretty good turn if all goes according to plan. You have to predict the opponent's going to do something here. Who knows what's coming? It's Shalai for Hexproof. What a trap. They activated the trap card. Alright, well, we're going to have to rally somehow. Let's go ahead and build you up. Let's get rid of the Oath of Kaya again. Gain the life, draw the card. And there is a Mox Amber. The extra mana won't do anything this turn, and we don't have a legendary for next turn. Massacre Girl right now won't take out both. We need another permanent. Maybe the opponent will oblige. Your turn. We may as well hold this until there's a time when we need it. And the Immortal Sun comes crashing down. So you play the Immortal Sun, then you attack the Vraska? Kind of a curious choice, wouldn't everybody agree? I can get the Vraska back with the Vile Offering if I have a legend, but I don't know. This is looking really tough. I don't think it's going to work out. This is a legendary creature or planeswalker. You just drew too much land. Let's go ahead and enchant you. There's probably some lines I could have taken that would leave me in a better position right now. It's just not clear. Oh man, it's a rough one. I guess we'll swing in and pass it on back to the opponent and go for Massacre Girl next turn. And we don't have a creature to get back. So it's also just, we flooded out pretty good from a 2-lander, wouldn't you agree? That's kind of crazy. And our opponent's also just flexing a legendary, like, they are a powerful legendary deck, there's no question. Immortal Sun is an absolute beating. And another Oath of Kaya off the top. A lot of Oath of Kaya. Can I deal 3 damage to the Shalai and then have Massacre Girl kill it? I can. Let's see if any of this resolves. The opponent might not be playing counters. It might just be bizarre. Bizarre deck. There we go. Let's go, Massacre Girl. I need you. Oh. Got me. Got my 1 legendary permanent, which means nothing dies. They really got me on this one. And what am I taking? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jesus. What a draw, too. Way to have it all the Trixies. Whew. That's a powerful one. So Urza's Ruinous Blast, which was my last card out, wouldn't have helped me in this spot either. But we can at least try the Citadel. So what if we offer... What can we get back? Nothing effective, that's for sure. Nothing effective. Killing the Shalai, we wouldn't get the Shalai back. We'd just get a card. What could the card do? I don't think anything, so let's see if we can kill ourselves with the Citadel for good times. Yeah, there we go. What, my opponent's impressed? I didn't get to do anything cool. There's nothing to be impressed with. Oh man. Alright, so just play him off the top until we can't play him anymore. And there's a land, so that's game. I didn't find a way to kill myself. Down at absolute 1 and I can't get there. Let's be out of here. The legendaries collided and I was deemed unworthy. We have an Amara into a Mox Amber into... We'll see. Keeps. Godless Shrine into Cemetery, into Amara. And then from there, hopefully we draw some good stuff and Amara lives. About what you can hope for. Kethis would be a great draw with the hand, just to make sure that we get to our 5 drops a little bit early. Vraska would be lovely. Vraska's lovely with most... It really is. There's a lot of Vraska to this deck. Vraska runs a lot of our best draws. Our opponent's on a mulligan, and considering their hand, see if we get to have a game. And we're off. The stick. I like saving the Mox until I can pair it with something, just so the opponent can't prepare for it or take advantage of it being on the table somehow. Hostage Taker, Karn. The Karn Plus from the Karn that tutors from outside the game is pretty frustrating. And are we up against Mono Blue? I mean, is there a more no fun deck around than Mono Blue? Maybe getting that out there because they might have negate. Okay, there is a deck that's bordering on his no fun, and it's this flyer deck, which annoys the hell out of me, but they've got 2 small 1-drops, and they usually don't run many counter spells. Oh, alright, we're not going to try to hold Amara back, which is wise. I would still attack Amara into that board. Your protection from red means nothing to me today. I imagine blocking isn't what you're going to do either. Just making sure that didn't target a player, but it's a card that can be countered by a Siren Storm Tamer, so we'll have to watch out for that. Yeah. I can't think of how they would interact with this, so I'm just going to play around Spell Pierce here while they're tapped out. Have Mox Amber on the battlefield. We'll get our Massacre Girl ready. We'll probably be good against them, but we will see. We may want to milk Amara for a while longer, though, and get more tokens out of it. These tokens can be really effective if the opponent doesn't play something larger. Okay, the Executioner. That's a lot of small creatures. We might get a scoop for the Massacre Girl. We will see. And now we've got waiting in the main phase, which I think is a Conclave Tribunal sign. There you go. Okay. Okie dokie. Now we don't get to cast Massacre Girl. Not yet. Next turn. We lost our mana source for the Amber. So do I play the Elf when it's about to die? Nah. I'm a better Overlord than that. Let's hope the opponent doesn't have a counter for the Massacre Girl here. Play more flyers. Sure. Annoying, but whatever. Down to 15. Draws a card. How about an Eagle? Will you play an Eagle for me? That would be really fun. Counting permanents, I think, so maybe something that ascends? Or just they have to touch everything because they have paper magic habits. I don't know. Couldn't tell ya. Life's full of tough choices. Do 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 do. Yes. 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 Thank God we still have. Well, I guess our opponent still had a 1/1 in the. No, the Storm Tamer is a 2/2 because of the Eagle. Yeah, we did need our 1/1 token to completely massacre the board. And now we have. Goodbye, bye, birdies. Time to rebuild. Oath of Kaya off the top. Could steal a Hanged Executioner and use the ability. That's interesting, but I don't feel a need to kill this Drake. Alright, let's slam. Let's see if this Vraska will resolve. We can tap this for black now. Okay, got him. So, I think I like playing... Well, we can just try to kill our opponent's creature here. Got him. And save the card drawing for later. And let the massacre continue. Well, you have something. Got you sitting there for a reason. Alright, let's get some damage in. I could sacrifice the Mox Amber. If I'm going to sacrifice something, it's usually one of the first things I sacrifice because it's so conditional. So I'm going to start there. I think Llanowar Elves are better. And it's legendary, so having it in the graveyard is nice. Now, I could Oath of Kaya the opponent and just go face. Don't think that's particularly great. So let's just let the mana go. Hang on to the Oath of Kaya. Hang on to the Vile Offering. Vile Offering is ready if the opponent plays anything worth destroying. And the game appears to have ended when Massacre Girl came down. Whatever's in the opponent's hand is... Last turn, it was not a card. Not a card that helped the situation in an already pretty desperate state. And now whatever they've drawn, who knows? Who knows what they've got? But it is a thinker. It is a thinker. And that's game. Yeah. Thank you, Massacre Girl, for bringing us glory. Only 1,000,000 degrees in here. Holy crap. Welcome to summer. Alright. On the draw, doing things. Perfectly reasonable hand. Replay mono red. Yep. That's okay. That's okay. Bring it on. Bring it on, says Oath of Kaya. Of course, Experimental Frenzy is the real enemy, and I don't have a ton of answers to that. I'm basically at that point, we're trying to Citadel the opponent. Face him down with value. Nice opener. And we have a Kethis in hand, along with 2 Oaths of Kaya. If I play an Amara, I'm 99% it just dies and I take damage, so I may as well have a cast down instead. I sort of want my opponent to throw Wizard's Lightnings at my face for no reason, so I'll wait for them to untap. Because we can recover from the Wizard's Lightnings with Oath of Kaya, so let's see if they decide here that it's Wizard Lightning time. Nope. Light up the stage. Hitting land drops for the next 2 turns. Must be nice. So, playing the Amara here could avoid shocking myself, but what I hate about that play is that the opponent just lightning strikes it, then untaps and does their thing, and we didn't make any progress on the board, and we probably take even more damage. I could shock and play Kethis, but I hate playing Kethis while there's a Firebrand on the battlefield, because Lightning Strike plus Firebrand will kill it. So, what we're going to do is pay 2 life and drop the Oath of Kaya and take out this Firebrand while we can. If our opponent wants, they can, and they might, Lightning Strike their own Firebrand or shock their own Firebrand. That's 1 less removal spell out of the opponent. So I will take that opportunity. Sometimes they make that play to keep me from gaining life. And no, we get to gain the life. The opponent will sit there with their shock or their lightning strike. There you go. That kind of play also implies that they have an experimental frenzy. But here's a Chandra. And now we could go for a Kethis and a tap land. But I really like getting Shalai on the battlefield. The hexproofness is nice. And Kethis can come down later and possibly play a Shalai from the battlefield to protect us if we pile up our legendary stuff. So, it's also the most mana efficient. So, here we go. The opponent will give it a nice, not sure what that means. They have nothing to be grumpy about as the red mage. The chains have whirled. And go. So, alright. What's going on? I guess shocking this didn't achieve anything, so they just didn't. Alright, fair enough. Shall we take out the Chandra? While we're hexproof, the Chandra can't target us, so it's going to be lovely. It's one of the great things about a Shalai-Chandra combination. Chandra targeted herself. The opponent... Oh wait, it has to be herself. Let me see. Whenever one or more are removed, that much damage to target opponent or planeswalker. Oh, yeah. Chandra did have to kill Chandra. That was pretty funny. Caught me a little by surprise, but it's good. It's good. We could go for a hidden hand, but I think I'm just totally down with Oath of Kaya, taking out that Chain Whirler. There is some risk to another hidden hand that the opponent could attack the Chain Whirler into it. I block and then they play another Chain Whirler. I wouldn't have to block, but I don't want to lose the life. Now the opponent's really starting to get their emote on. They do not like what's going on. Okay. Well, if you had the means to kill this, maybe they just drew it. But they did have a shock last turn. Ah, haha. Because we took out their wizard, they couldn't have a good mana efficient turn. Here's Kethis. Here is Amara. And, whoa, opponent does not like the idea of Shalai coming back. Amara would have to die before that happens, but Red Mage, sad. Red Mage made to cry. I'll have to draw legendary or land, but put your faith in the deck. Put the faith in the deck. Make it happen. More red? Jeez, a Pete. Gotta have them wins. Alright, your go. Next turn, Oath of Kaya, your good card. That'll do. I mean, it's an okay card. It's very good in this particular red deck. I will give it that. Yes! This is why 4 Oath of Kayas just makes me happy. Just power through this crap. It would be really nice, though, to draw a land, though, and get to play Vraska and sacrifice the Oath, but it looks like we won't. We might not have that opportunity. That Steamkin's gotta go. Are we light in stages, too? Okay. Fun. We did draw the land. We could play the Vraska and plus it. The opponent might go absolutely nuts, though. We could play the Vraska and minus it to kill the Steamkin. The opponent will probably kill off the Vraska. But yeah, I think it's just better. I'm convinced it's just better to play another Oath of Kaya and not let the Steamkin get any traction, and not throw away our Vraska yet. Because I would love to play Vraska and sacrifice a Mox Amber, or sacrifice an Oath of Kaya, something like that. Besides, let's play some more creatures. Massacre Girl can destroy them. Yes! Oh my goodness. If we draw a land, this is so good. If we don't, it's going to get ugly. Probably. Yes! Get him, girl! Get him! Awesome! Massacre Girl living up to the name in every way. And making a Bolas's Citadel from 20 life against the red deck possible next turn. No! Where are you going? You still have so many cards in hand. I guess it just wasn't going according to plan. 20 life on turn 5, leave game. Unfortunately, that's all the time I have for today. I was going to try to record a few more games. I really wanted to get one of the most epic Citadel, like a turn 3 or turn 4 Citadel that went nuts games. Those are incredibly fun, and getting one on camera would be a goal, but I don't have the time. I'm still recording 3 videos a day, and my trip, at the time I'm recording this one, is only about a bit over 24 hours away, so I gotta finish it up. I gotta make sure you guys have plenty to watch. So, I got work to be done. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the videos while I'm gone. This deck, it's fun. Don't craft it for competitive use. It is Mythic wildcard heavy, and I don't think that Mox Amber, and I'm definitely not sure that the Hidden Hand here are going to be good investments of your wildcards. So live vicariously through me if you're on that budget, and if you want to jank it up a bit and do some craziness, this is a very good deck for that. So by all means, you can try it out, play it, but don't craft it for competitive purposes. I would like to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, please subscribe. It does help the channel out a lot. It's cringy, It's annoying to be reminded, but I've got to say it. As I make a push to be a full-time content creator, the subscriber count matters. A lot of the good opportunities I've had recently have been due to having a good subscriber count on YouTube. So I have to keep working on it. Thank you very much for listening to me blah 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 about it. And thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.